So where do we start, David?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it starts with financial statements and a little bit of a shift in mindset on what do I use my financial statements for. I think a lot of people, myself included, when you get into this business, financial statements are simply something that you need to have for your tax accountant at the end of the year. And that is true. However, they are a very important tool that we use in our business on a monthly basis, and I can go into some of the aspects on financial statements. But I would say, first things first, if you are not getting bank reconciled financial statements from your bookkeeper, you ought to. I have a habit of logging on to my Amazon seller app and I look at revenue, and that is helpful. However, that is a vanity metric, and I'm in the business of producing net income. And so that's something that I pay very close attention to. And as businesses grow and expand, having your financial statements grow and expand with you is very important. And so uh, I have what I like to call kind of the seven commandments of great financial statements. And I'd be happy to go through those if you would like.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm gonna ask you a dumb question. Obviously, I know the answer to it, but just for some of my listeners, um, net you I just heard you say that you are in the business of producing net income.
Mhm.
So net income means the net cash left in your pocket, right? Out of the operation.
Yep.
Isn't that your Amazon deposit? Because they take off everything and they pay you what's left. Isn't that your net income?
No, it is not. So there's going to be a lot of things that are left out of that. First thing is going to be your operating expenses. So if you have a team, payroll, that's not going to be included in that. That would be something that you need to have leftover cash for after your Amazon deposit. Subscriptions, things like that. Those are all operating expenses that are not going to be in there. Now, and I would say within the Amazon payments, there are some very sneaky expenses. And we can get into these a little later in the episode, but they're not necessarily expenses that you're swiping a credit card for or you are writing a check for. They're deducted out of your payments. And I think that understanding what is Amazon charging me for and how can I better manage that is going to make you a better operator altogether.
Well, I mean, this is so right. And those are the things that will kill you because they eat into your margin. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, though, two biggies that come out of that, that I should say not come out, but that skew that net deposit, making it far from being net income. First and foremost, the cost of the merchandise you sold, right? All they are paying you is your top line minus their commission, minus FBA fees, minus advertising. Well, if you sold $100,000 and you receive $20,000 net deposit, well, what does that mean? Well, it doesn't include the merchandise. You still have to pay for the merchandise you sold, right? Number one. Number two, what may also happen, this is not for every seller, but Amazon holds on to some of the funds. They call it reserve, right? So if they paid you, you sold $100,000 and they made a $20,000 net deposit, well, maybe they held on to $30,000. So really, your net deposit should be 50,000, which still doesn't mean that's your net income because it doesn't include the merchandise. But more important, you have things that have nothing to do with Amazon that you pay out of your pocket, like you mentioned, the payroll and your rent, your warehouse, your insurance, you name it, all those things. So so those are the things that I always warn people against. Don't just look at your deposit. Deposit means nothing. All it is just you got the cash. But don't look at it as a financial indicator. So would you agree?
Absolutely, you're spot on, and that was one that I missed was the cost of your merchandise and freight. That typically is going to be 30-40% of your revenue, and something that you absolutely don't want to forget about because if sales go well, you're going to need to have money left over to reorder that inventory.